Remember the 5th of November. The gunpowder treason and plot. There is no reason why the gunpowder treason should ever be forgot. Guy Fawkes and his companions did the scheme contrived to blow the king and parliament all up alive. 70 barrels laid below to prove old England's overthrow, but by God's providence him they catch. With a dark lantern lighting a match, a stick and a stake for King James' sake. If you won't give me one, I'll take two, the better for me and the worse for you. A rope to hang the Pope, a penny worth of cheese to choke him, a pint of beer to wash it down, and a jolly good fire to burn him. Holla boys, make the bells ring. Holla boys, God save the king. Hip hip hooray. November 5th, 2024 is election day. Now I just want to make a couple comments. The main one is history and events will choose the president. Who's going to win the presidency? Who knows? Anybody could win, right? It's a coin toss. Mainly between the Republicans and the Democrats, but there is a narrow way for the third parties to win through the Electoral College vote. So history and events choose the presidents. History and events choose the presidents. I feel like we're such a forgetful nation, the United States of amnesia, that the presidential election doesn't actually begin until October 22nd, 2 weeks out before Election Day. If the election was held today, October 9th, or a week ago, October 2nd, if it was held a month prior to November 5th, I think Kamala would have had it hands down. Why? Because you have all of the fallout from Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Helene makes you think of climate change. Well, that's just a hoax. Why do we have hurricane after hurricane? Why is so many crazy things happening with the goddamn weather? History and events choose the president. History and events choose the president. It's essentially a 50-50 coin toss. So what would have to happen for Donald Trump to win? Well, a big thing on immigration. If some big thing on immigration was to happen within the 2 weeks before November 5th, then you would see Donald Trump win. Barack Obama, he won in 2008 because you had the Great Recession. The Great Recession had happened. So he won in 2008. Now we're going to remember that Donald's going to call foul even if he totally loses or even if he totally wins. Who knows? It's all rigged. It's all a bunch of bullshit. Right? Especially if he loses. Holy shit. But the presidential election isn't over until the Electoral College vote is counted. And that was January 6th was the certification. So you have all the people of the states. They vote for the state. And then usually it's winner take all. So the slate of electors are supposed to vote the same way that the state had vote. But once the electors are chosen, so let's say in a red state, let's give Donald his due. So you have Mississippi. Well, they're going to be a red state, right? They don't fucking matter. They're a damn Republican state. And so when they vote for the Republican, they're going to choose their, 5 electors or whatever. And when the 5 electors go to certify the vote, when they say, okay, how do ye vote? If the elector says, well, I vote for Jill Stein, well, that means Jill Stein can become the president. You have these faithless electors. You have Maine and Nebraska. And you also have Washington. There's a whole bunch of states where you have these faithless electors that kind of happen pretty regularly. The Electoral College vote is the end of the presidential election. Once the Electoral College vote is counted up, then the election is over. So November 5th doesn't end the presidential election. The Electoral College vote ends the presidential election. And the Electoral College vote is when Jill Stein or Chase Oliver or Claudia de la Cruz can get in. Because if they deprive both candidates of 270 votes, if they deprive them of a majority, and they were able to get at least one Electoral College votes, then the top 3 candidates goes to the House contingent election. From the House of Representatives, the incoming House of Representatives will vote for the president. So history and events choose the president. If there's a big immigration issue, If you have the FBI doing some shit, he was up against the FBI. Chaos, riots, anarchy. The whole country collapses for some reason. The stock market might collapse, but that's good for the working class, I think. History and events choose the president. So basically immigration, that's the big thing with Donald, and it's a big thing, taxes and regulation, right? So if a whole bunch of taxes just happen, or a whole bunch of regulations, or a big old immigration mess happens, then Donald will win that race. But if it's any other issues, if it's climate change, abortion, labor unions, if you have any other major change, then it's going to be Kamala. It is Kamala Harris's to lose. She is pretty much a shoo-in. She's a conservative, throwing out liberal breadcrumbs. Also, don't forget that the Supreme Court chose Bush v. Gore in 2000. So if there are issues with the elections, the Supreme Court may weigh in. The courts could weigh in, trying to sway the vote one way or another. And then last but not least, these are the states that matter. Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. The rest of you 49 states, you're a bunch of safe states. You're safely Democrat, you're safely Republican. It would make all the sense in the world for you to vote for a third party. Oh, Mississippi, vote Republican? Who gives a fuck? They were going to vote Republican even if Republican, the motherfucker was, even if he, was Hitler or fucking, Gandhi or Mao or Stalin. Even if the Republican was Kamala, Mississippi is going to vote Republican. They don't give a shit who the fucking person is. They don't care about the policies. They don't care about the future of this country. They're a backwards, racist, right-wing fucking state. And so they're always going to vote for the one that's most conservative in their perspective, or most likely to be a fascist. So Nevada, Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, pay attention to them. Pay attention to them because that's where the election is at. That's where both campaigns are spending all their money on. The rest of the states, you all don't fucking matter. You don't matter, and you keep on not mattering. Being safely Democratic, I think, is a little bit better than safely Republican. But it's only the swing states that matter. So it seems like you should have a mixture of the two. I'm not for sure. Donald should lose. I want Jill Stein, Claudia De La Cruz, or Chase Oliver to win. But I'll settle for Kamala. When it comes to electoral politics, you take whatever the fuck you can get and you fight for the rest. When the fuck has government ever had our backs? Never. This is capitalism. You see how we treat our poor and our homeless. You see the police brutality. There's a lot of wealth and a lot of happiness. A lot of people are doing fine, good, and dandy, at least from the outside. They're probably dead on the inside. But you see how homeless people are treated. If you see how homeless people are treated in America, well, then you know that the economic success of yourself is all up to you and you alone. If you fall off, well, then you're fucked. So if you got yourself a good job, hold on to that good job. You got yourself a good business, hold on to that business. You got some kind of stream of income, hold on to that stream of income. Because if you fall off, then you are fucked. You are fucked. And if you don't have a stream of income, then you need to figure it out. You need to figure out how you're going to make that money. Because, this is America. So it's dog-eat-dog capitalism. I wish Gaza and Palestine had some influence on the damn thing, but